I'm here this week in Saskatoon, as Jean said, to install this icon project on the choir balcony of this parish. It's called the Mother of God of Canada. This icon, I was commissioned to write this icon originally for the 75th anniversary of the Ukrainian Orthodox Church of Canada. This icon is in the Orthodox tradition, but it's unique as it is the Mother of God of Canada. I'm holding a print of what eventually, when I completed, that icon will look like. This is the centenary project for this parish, for this cathedral. For the centenary project of the Ukrainian Orthodox Church of Canada, I've been commissioned to write this special icon of Saint Andrew, the first called apostle. And he is the patron saint of the Ukrainian Orthodox Church of Canada, the Ukrainian Church in Ukraine, as well as in Constantinople. What makes that particular icon unique is that it will hold a relic of the apostle. This icon will be blessed and unveiled in August for the centenary celebrations here in Saskatoon. Thank you.
Thank you, Vera. And I know you have to get back to work shortly and start preparing for the gilding, which will carry on right after this press conference, so we'll let you get back to your work as well. And now it's my great pleasure to introduce His Eminence, the head of the Ukrainian Orthodox Church of Canada, who will bring some opening remarks briefly now, and then he'll come back later and we'll do the official unveiling of our centenary logo and our centenary project. So may I ask His Eminence Metropolitan Yurij for his opening comments.
Brothers and sisters in Christ, members of the media, it's a great pleasure today to meet with you and to sort of officially initiate the celebrations and commemorations of the centenary of the Ukrainian Orthodox Church of Canada, even though these celebrations and commemorations have begun in other parts of Canada. We are focusing at this time to the extraordinary General Council of our church that will be taking place here in Saskatoon between the 9th and 12th of August. As you may have gathered from some of the material or things that have already been said, this is a great event for not only the Ukrainian Orthodox Church of Canada, but also for Canadian history as a whole. It speaks to a time 100 years ago when people came from the lands of Ukraine, often occupied by other countries, and came to Canada, found freedom, and found the ability for self-determination, and decided that their religious life was one of their great priorities. And so all of Canada, particularly the prairies, are dotted with the wonderful churches of the Ukrainian Orthodox tradition. The history is extremely rich, but there are many English language accounts of how this church was organized, and it began here in Saskatoon. 30 people at one time came to have a discussion: what will be our future? How will we organize our religious life? What do we believe? How do we want to administer our church? All of these questions were initiated at that time. In July of 1918, a meeting of 150 representatives from the three prairie provinces gathered here to make the final decision that we will organize the church of our forefathers, the Ukrainian Orthodox Church. For this did not just begin 100 years ago in Canada, this is the continuation of, before that, a 900-year tradition that goes back to Prince Volodymyr the Great, who accepted Christianity from Byzantium on behalf of the Ukrainian nation, and harkens back even to the time of the apostles, when Apostle Andrew first called, preached the word of God on the northern shores of the Black Sea, and then proceeded north of the Dnipro a cave, and according to the tale of bygone years, written by monk Nestor in the 11th century, speaks of the fact that Apostle Andrew stood on the hills of Kiev and said, one day the glory of God will shine here and many churches will be built here, which has come true. Fast forward to Canada, the people 100 years ago said we are part of that church, we are part of that tradition, and under Canadian circumstances, they organized that church. And as our chairman mentioned, in 1929, by an act of Parliament, this church was granted a charter. We have many parallels between our church in Canada and the events that took place in Ukraine 100 years ago and even today. We as a church anticipate in the next few months the pronouncement by the Patriarch of Constantinople, of which jurisdiction we are a constituent part, to announce the autocephaly of the Orthodox Church in Ukraine. We are part of that process, we are part of that celebration. Today, we celebrate 100 years of the Ukrainian Orthodox Church of Canada, and it's my pleasure to welcome also the other members of our church and of our committees that are celebrating and commemorating this great event. I think I will leave it at that for now.
Thank you very much.